Hi, I'm Dr. Cynthia Clark, acupuncture physician, applied clinical nutritionist, creator of Energy Evolution, and president of Longevity Wellness. And today, I want to talk to you about goals. Did you know that only 9% of Americans follow through on our New Year's resolutions? And only 40% of Americans are making New Year's resolutions anymore. It's like we've given up on it. We've fallen so out of integrity with ourselves. We're sick and tired of it. We don't even want to talk to ourselves. We don't want to make a commitment that we're afraid that we can't follow up on. So how do we get back in the habit, in the practice of being in integrity with ourselves? And why should we? I submit to you that the process of making goals and measuring every day whether or not you're meeting your goals is a way of measuring your own integrity and coming into the fullness of right relationship with yourself. It is said by both Zig Ziglar and Tony Robbins that the purpose of goals is who you become in the process of meeting them. And I really agree with that. So over the past few years, I consider it a privilege to be training for Ironman Texas in April of 2023 right now. I'm currently training the races in April 2023. And I know that it's a privilege to be in good health and to be strong and capable and have enough free time. And I just got my latest pair of running shoes in, which are the least expensive part of triathlon training. So to have the money to invest in these kinds of hobbies. And yet I find that when I go through the process, every single day, I'm setting a goal for myself and I'm measuring whether or not I've met my own standards, my own goal. And I can very quickly and easily see whether I am or not. So at the beginning of 2022, my New Year's resolution was my triathlon training. And honestly, at that time, I didn't know what that looked like. And I didn't have an Ironman on my list, but I did have triathlon training on my list. And so I was able to meet that goal. So my point of saying this is for 9 of the last 10 years, I have met and kept my goals. And 1 year, it took me 2 years to make my New Year's resolutions, but I did still make them. And I want to talk to you today about why I work so hard to meet my goals. And it's because once upon a time, I didn't have the luxuries that I did now. So I'm a person, I worked my way through undergraduate school. I worked my way through engineering school. By the way, I was trying to look up statistics on this, to like kind of give you a sense of who I am, because I know that I know I have some unique wiring. Those of you who know me know that I have a relentless curiosity. And I'm always interested in not only finding out what the root cause, the true meaning of health is, and also of when we fall out of health, but I think it's very important to emphasize that health is the goal and not disease. So if we focus on health, we're going to get to health. So I have this unique personality. I'll talk about this more in another video, but it has to do with the importance of knowing oneself. And I know that some of my wiring is what I call engineering speak. So I can be very results oriented. And so therefore I have hobbies, I adopt hobbies that help me see results. And that's important to me because I just like to see improvement over time, and great goals like an Ironman is a great way to see whether or not I'm improving over time. So perhaps you are sitting here like me with your to-do list for 2023 and trying to figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it. And maybe you're even having a conversation of why, or whether or not you want to bother with New Year's goals in 2023. And I want to encourage you to take a moment of reflection. If you are stuttering in this moment, to examine and look into why it is that you might not want to make a goal. Is it because you failed in the past? And if so, is failure really the worthy goal to shoot for? Do we just give up altogether, the ultimate failure? I'm not even going to play the game. Or is it better to know ourselves, to come to know ourselves a bit better, and to find goals that are more aligned with who we really want to become? Because if we are properly motivated, if we really do believe in what we're doing and why, then we will make our goals. Nothing will stop us from making our goals, but we have to believe in what we're doing and why. So it really comes down to alignment. And many years ago, back when I first started my clinic, I was a bit of a train wreck. This is super embarrassing because I'm a healthcare practitioner and I love what I do. And honestly, 10 years ago, or 11 years ago now, I loved what I did. And I was passionately in love with it, but I couldn't get through a workday without taking a nap. Coffee not only stopped working on me, but started working in the opposite direction. If I drank a cup of coffee, I would immediately have to go to sleep. Even though I was a certified personal trainer when I was in graduate school, and I worked out regularly, not crazy amounts, but I was healthy. At this point, when I started my clinic, if I ran a mile, then I would be pretty wiped out for a full day going into the next day. And that was pretty frustrating and embarrassing, humiliating as a healthcare practitioner, right? Here I wanted to help everybody else and I was broken. Not to mention I had low libido and I was cold and a little brain fogged. And, at the same time, I'm like a super with it together person that's an ultimate executor. And so I kind of just look normal to other people, but it really wasn't me at all. So I wound up learning a very, very cool system that I now use in clinic every single day. It helped heal me magnificently over time. I went from, being this, I couldn't run a mile without being wiped out, to 2 days, to, of course, the training for my second Ironman. And for those of you who don't know, an Ironman distance is a 2.4 mile swim followed by a 112 mile bike ride, followed by a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. And it wasn't even that long ago that I said to a friend of mine, there's no way that I am ever going to be able to bike 30 miles before work. And now that's like an easy ride. It's an easy day. So it's pretty amazing. It's really pretty amazing. So I thought I'd share with you, I've had to work really hard for my health and I've had to fight for it, because once having lost it, there's no way that I'm willing to let anything take that away from me. So I thought I'd share with you today and offer a few of the things that are most important to me I have found in goals, because I am a person that makes my goals, I keep my goals. When I don't make my goals, I make my goals. I keep at it until I do. And so here are some of my favorites. Number 1, pray with gratitude. First thing every day, the very, very, very first thing to do is to be grateful and to say, I'm grateful. Whoever it is you pray to and however it is you pray, just resonate in gratitude. Number 2, pick a goal that you're truly aligned with, not just something that you think you should do. Pick something that lights up your soul. So if you're thinking, oh, I need to go on a diet, most people that kind of takes their energy away from them and makes them feel a little lackluster in life. But if maybe your goal was something like, oh, I want to go swing dancing, then there's a good chance that you're going to eat better, that you're going to want to be more fit, that you're going to want to be prevent injury. So you might want to be stronger so that you prevent injury on the dance floor. And by the way, for those of you who are here locally and might be interested in dancing, I come from a long line of amazing dancing ladies, and there is a fantastic venue that is just up the road from us in Gulfport, which is in South St. Pete. They have dancing, I think, every night of the week. And if there's anything you want to learn, there are a bunch of people out there that are just waiting to go dancing with you. It's like $10 for the dance lesson before the class or before the dance. So it's a cheap date and it's a lot of fun, and it's Gulfport Casino. Okay, that was a little gift from my mom, who's passed on, who's a lovely, lovely, lovely dancing lady. And she was really great at finding things that lit up her soul. She went to the gym and she exercised, but she was always really good at like finding stuff she liked. So if it's golf, if it's pickleball, if it's the Zumba class at the gym, find something that lights up your soul and then work towards that, because all your other goals will fall into place more easily when you do that. Number 3 is don't just focus on the goal, focus on the steps to get to the goal. So if you want to learn to play guitar, then your goal shouldn't be, if you're just picking up a guitar, your goal probably shouldn't be play the guitar at Carnegie Hall or become lead guitarist for Metallica. It should be something you're going to do better and you're going to be more fulfilled if your goal is something smart. So specific, measurable, attainable, results-oriented, and time-oriented. So for example, it might be something like practice guitar 3 times a week for 20 minutes using YouTube videos to get started. That's going to be a much more specific and rewarding goal than, this pie in the sky, like it might take you a decade to achieve that goal, right? Number 4, look at your goals every day. And it's fine to post your goal on your bathroom mirror if that's your thing, but it's not enough. In fact, if you post your goal in a place that you gloss over, then eventually in not very much time, you're going to not see that. So what I really mean is honest assessment of, am I meeting my goal? Did I do this today? If not, what do I need to change tomorrow to make it happen? This isn't about judgment. This is about discernment and correction and letting it go and moving on. Number 5, have people around you that support you. So people that know what you're working on, that you feel comfortable sharing your goals with them, whether they're little, step-by-step or big goals. Honestly, either way, you want to have people around you that you have safe space enough that you're willing to share your goals. Maybe going to the gym is the frustrating, difficult goal. I'm constantly reading books on things like mental toughness in order to get myself in the right headspace for the kind of training I do. And there's one called, I think it's called Triathlon for the Every Woman, something like this. Anyway, the author of the book her story begins at being sedentary. She's a lawyer. She is, she works a full-time job. They've got children, and she commutes 12 hours a week. And she hasn't been to the gym in years and years and years. And so describes this phase as being tired, angry, and fat. And she winds up in this spin class at the gym, in this spin class, kind of like almost guilted into being there. Like they gave a free lunch, and so she wound up with a free membership at the gym, and she gave it a shot. And over time, she eventually, she worked harder and harder, and she had people around her that encouraged her. When she said, out of nowhere, I want to do a triathlon, like the coach that she chose didn't say, oh, honey, I think we need to start with something a little bit smaller. He was super excited, and I'm going to use this term, fell in love with her a little bit in that moment, because it is a type of love. When we fall in love with somebody who's doing something amazing and we get to witness it and be part of their journey. I have fallen in love with many, many, many of my clients because they are amazing people, and I'm so grateful to get to watch their journey and their progress, and to get to see them come out of pain, or to get more energy, or to have more presence with their family. It just makes my little heart go pitter-patter. And it's very, very important that you have people around you that support you. And if you don't, call me. I will give you your attagirl, your attaboy, and I will tell you how amazing you are, because you really are. And I really mean it. And I know how hard those first steps can be. So, okay, so those are some of the mastery level moves. If you don't know me at all, if you don't know me from Adam, then you might not know the kind of person I am, and quite honestly, sometimes I don't even know the kind of person I am. Sometimes I will do things that it doesn't occur to me until much later that nobody else on the planet ever even thought that was an important thing to do. And I'll already have created a system and figured it out and put it in place and moved on before I've asked, did somebody else do this already? Because that'd be really convenient if I could just copy. So it's just my wiring. It's just my wiring. It might be because I was raised by my dad. It might be because I started working in airplane hangars when I was quite young, cleaning spark plugs for the airplanes, or working in my mom's office doing accounting and cleaning. Like there's no pride in my world. Like I have done all of the jobs, and a lot of small business owners have that makeup, right? A lot of the really successful people have we're all elbow grease and we'll do anything at any time. And you might be a bit like me. In fact, before I tell you this next little bit, I will say that if you did your own statistics on this, you would also find your very unique thumbprint. You would find your unique vibration, or you already know it. As one of my good friends says, I know my note. I know what I'm good at, and I know what my role is to play. So a little bit about myself, if I may take a moment and just share a few notes about myself for those of you who don't know me, and maybe those of you who do, a little bit more about who I am and what my background is, so that you might understand a little bit more about why I'm wired the way I'm wired. So at 17, I started working my way through engineering school. Not only was I a woman in engineering, but I also sat for my engineering in training exam, which is the precursor for the professional engineer. I ended up departing the field before I left, but so let's see, about 15% of engineers are women. Only about 6% of college graduates are engineers. So you got a 6%, and then 15% of that are women. And then only 60% of engineers sit for this engineering and training exam. So like 3.4% of college graduates are engineers who pass the EIT. And so if we put all those numbers together, then we're in I have my own 1%. I'm in the less than 1% in that category. Upon graduation, I started first working as a planning engineer, and then I worked in IT for about a decade. During that time, I started studying Kung Fu, and I became a 3rd degree black belt. General statistics state that about 3 to 5% of people become black belts, and a 3rd black belt is rare enough that I can't find data on it, less than 1%. Among my hobbies, I have been a rock climber and a motorcyclist. Both of those are in like the 2 to 3%, and then combined less than 1%. It was really gorgeous. I lived in Colorado during that time and got to ride and climb all around those mountains and ski. It was fantastic. And I also, about 13% of people have master's degrees, and about a third of those are women. So, we're up to 4.5%. I mean, it's almost like a majority over here. 16% of people are entrepreneurs, and only a third of businesses make it past 10 years. So almost 6% of people. Most recently, it's estimated that in my most recent achievements, it's estimated that about 0.5%, so again, less than 1% of people of the world's population complete an Ironman competition. I think this is really cool. I heard this the other day. It said that the motto of Ironman is anything is possible, and it's right there in the word impossible. You just put an apostrophe between the I and the M, and you wind up with I'm possible. So I love this competition because I flat out did not believe I could possibly do it when I first signed up for it. I surprised myself, but it's just good for the soul that I spend so much time running and biking and swimming that it's a lot of prayer time for me, and I like who I am when I spend that much time praying and in that space. So you get a little bit of understanding about how dedicated I am to the pursuit of health. I don't just talk my talk. Back when I worked in IT, there would always be these people that would talk their acronyms. They would talk a good talk. But when it actually came down to fixing the problem, they didn't really show up in that way. And so, we would say they couldn't walk their talk. I believe in walking my talk. I believe in testing my medicine through pushing my body and health. I did not do sports when I was growing up. It's not a thing that I'm falling back on. It's actually a thing that I'm learning later in life. I feel like I'm just now learning how to run, bike, and swim. And I'm looking for the minor adjustments that make big differences. So it's kind of exciting to get to learn new things at this stage. Okay, so what do? How do I stack the odds in my favor to make these goals, to meet and make these goals? So number one is just the basics. I eat well, I drink at least 64 ounces of water, and I sleep 8 hours a night most of the time. As training ramps up, I actually have to sleep more, which there was no warning label on Ironman training the first time around, and that surprised me. I was like, yes, exercise more. I don't need quite as much sleep. I'm gonna be great. And it's like, yeah, that's true, up until the point where you're exercising a lot, and then you absolutely have to sleep a lot. Number two, I protect my peace. I pay close attention to the energy around me and to relationships around me. I love my people, and I do everything I can to make sure that they're well taken care of. And I know what's my job to do and what's not my job to do. So I do my best not to have regrets in life, and to love my people as much as I'm able to, and then to do me. Number three, of course, I exercise various ways at various times, but I never go along with being sedentary. And I'm talking about life goals. Like Ironman is a goal for me this year and in 2023, but it's a goal. I have other life goals too. And number four, I use the Franklin planning system. I'm on number 26 of the Franklin planners. I've had all sorts of different versions of them, but the prioritization system of categories A, B, and C, and numbering 1, 2, 3 has changed my life. It changed my life my freshman year of college, and it has been changed ever since. And I'm so grateful. For a brief stint in the 2000s, I switched to like the Palm Pilot to-do list and studies. I was like, this just doesn't seem to be working as well. And I finally met up with a genius man who had a master's degree in chaos theory and organizational, transformational organizations. And he shared with me that studies showed that making the to-do list on your gadget, where you don't have to rewrite it every day, was not nearly as effective as having to write it out on paper every day. So I was like, okay, we're going back. And then finally, supplements. You know, I'm so lucky to get to do what I do. I'm so lucky to have the skills and tools that I have at my fingertips. I know that I am lucky. I'm so grateful for it. Chinese medicine and functional medicine is my love language, so I love it that I get to support my family and my loved ones in this way, and to get to see their lives get better and better. It means the world to me. So I know that many of you have been curious about, okay, what do you do personally, and what are you doing personally during Ironman Florida for Ironman Texas training? I'm going to put this in a separate video in case somebody doesn't want to watch all the way to the end of this one. So let me stop here, and then I'm going to start a new video. Okay. All right. So coming up are my personal favorite supplements for Ironman training right now.